Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Game Junk Podcast, episode 219, recording on Sunday, January 12th, 2025. My name is Frank.
My name is Sean.
And my name is Andrew.
And on this week's episode, we will be discussing our top 5 wish list items for the new Nintendo Switch successor announcement. A lot of speculation, a lot of rumors filtering out these days. I'm going to go over some of those as well. They might show up on our top 5 list. I don't know. But I sense a Switch successor announcement this week or next week. I just got a feeling. And I was in a forum before the show, and they're like, everyone's like, tomorrow's the day, tomorrow's the day, tomorrow's the day. This is like a leaks forum. I don't know if they say this every day, but they seem to think it's coming tomorrow. An announcement about the official announcement. So we have to get this in before it's too late. Top 10 lists can wait. This is way more important, right, gentlemen?
Yeah, definitely.
100%.
Now, I keep saying Switch successor because
I don't think that's what it'll be called.
The Switch 2. Well, of course not, but I don't like this pre-branding of the Switch 2. I mean, this is like, should be part of the big announcement. Now, I don't want to spoil your list. Does anyone have a wish for what they hope the name of the console is on their top 5?
No.
No, I do not. But Switch U would be really cool.
Now, on an IGN like little snippet podcast I listened to, someone said Super Nintendo Switch, going back to the Super era, Switch 64, Switch Cube,
Yeah.
Switch Cube.
Switch with 2 eyes in the middle, like the Wii.
Switch almost next gen. Almost.
I hope they don't call it Switch 2.
I mean, they usually don't, right? Like, I can't think of one
Now,
that's done that, but
this was a rumor going back before the Wii was announced. People were talking about what the Wii was going to be called. This was my favorite one. I'm sure it's come up on the show before. That just call it Nintendo. This is Nintendo. And
No.
like when you were a kid and everyone like, what are you doing? Oh, they're playing Nintendo. No matter what video games you're playing, Nintendo. I like that. And I like it under, this isn't really in my top 5 list, but it's kind of lingering there and something I've thought about a lot, where I want this to be, the Switch is kind of the setting up of backwards compatibility. And I see it as being like this is just a platform that refreshes, that is, a home base for the history of Nintendo. You get the virtual consoles that are constantly updated, possibly with some additions, and eventually making like high def re-releases of their greatest games. And eventually this system will just be a storehouse for everything amazing Nintendo has ever made and the best current version of all those things. So I would like it to go, this is like a, what's the word? Not like necessarily a cloud platform, but like we're just going to update this thing. Everything will always work on it, and it's called Nintendo.
okay. Switch Infinite.
Switch Infinite. I like it.
I mean, Nintendo. I mean, then you're going to have to start putting like Nintendo brackets 2025 or something after it. But I mean, it could work. I wouldn't, that actually, I could see them doing that.
And like committing to, everyone complains about Nintendo's backwards compatibility and buying things multiple times and issues with the ecosystem. Just a commitment to, yes, we will do future versions of this console, but this is the house for everything Nintendo. And that might line up with some of my predictions.
Okay.
Or not predictions, wish list. I want to be very clear. These are not predictions. I know nothing. Everything I want to happen for this console will not. So they're not predictions. They're wish lists. I'm almost guaranteeing this will not happen on this console.
That's the interesting thing is like there's so many things people want. Nintendo never gives you everything you want. They might give you one or two, but that's about it.
Before we get into our wish list, should we discuss some of the current rumors? Are you guys up to snuff on this stuff?
Let's do it, because I am not up to snuff.
Yeah, I mean, I know there were some images that leaked from CES.
Mm-hmm.
That's about all I've seen. So whatever else you got, Frank, let us know.
Okay, so what's the name of the company? Because that's kind of their whole...
Is that Genkai?
Genki. They had 3D printed models, which are based on leaked, I believe, CAD documents of the Nintendo Switch successor specs. And let's just call it the new Nintendo. And apparently the new Nintendo is going to look a lot like the old Switch, but be slightly bigger, larger screen. The big rumor is magnetic Joy-Cons. So they kind of detach very easily. That is definitely a pain in the ass with the current Switch, of like that button, and if you put it in the wrong way, I mean, I hate it. So I really don't play in portable mode that much. I don't care. It's not on my wish list. But I mean, anything MagSafe on a Apple device is heaven. So if anything, it's Nintendo getting a step closer to merging with Mac, using MagSafe properties. So I think that's a win. Now, there's some deeper rumors. Have you heard about the deeper rumors?
I don't think so.
Let's go deep.
One's pretty cool. On one of the Joy-Cons, I think analog triggers has been rumored on the Joy-Cons. And on the top of the Joy-Con is a little sensor. And the rumor is you put the Joy-Con like vertically with the trigger on top, and it's a mouse. You can use it as a mouse for shooters.
Okay, I did see some
RTS games. I thought that was kind of a cool idea, and I think the video I saw had someone demonstrating it with like a Switch-like Joy-Con, and it actually makes a lot of sense. And I as soon as I heard about this, I thought, oh, wonder if they'll do this. And then the IGN podcast said it immediately after me, which was Mario Paint, a new Mario Paint game. And I think the more likely scenario is some kind of creator suite or a new Mario Maker that's
Mario Maker
via mouse control, which I could see being a big sell if Nintendo's going to push more creator type games and having better tools for making content. I could see that being a pretty big deal.
Yeah, I mean, like I have a hard time picturing how it would work as good as an actual mouse, but I mean, if they could do that, that would be pretty cool.
And then you just bust out your Labo keyboard, typewriter or something like that, and then you got a keyboard and mouse. You're good to go.
Mean, that's the thing. Like, why wouldn't you just make a mouse work via USB? Like, why would you go through all the trouble?
No, this is for when you're on the go, you're traveling, you got it in kickstand mode, and you just want to do a little sniping. Pow, pow. I don't know what you do with your other hand. I think it would have kind of a limited function set, but I could see Nintendo coming up with some ideas for that. I kind of like it.
I mean, that's my favorite stuff about when Nintendo announces a new system, when they have some weird thing that everybody's like, what? This makes no sense. And then, I mean, not always, but usually they have some good ideas for what they can do with that. And it's pretty cool.
What do you think was the most underutilized Nintendo feature?
The IR sensor.
Okay.
Remember that thing? It was like on the one controller. And there was like a couple of things with, was it Labo that used it?
Yeah, 1-2 Switch used it, I think.
1-2 Switch used it as well? I would say that.
I liked HD Rumble. There was that Switch game where you had to guess how many marbles were in a box, and it was pretty responsive. And I guess it kind of sucks because I use a Pro controller, but I think HD Rumble could have been a bigger deal. Going back, there's obviously the pulse sensor or whatever that was that never. Do you remember the rumored? You don't remember this? Like the thing you put on your finger?
Right. Yeah. I
check
do.
your
heart monitor.
Yeah.
But that never actually came out.
No,
right?
it never came out. It was disappointing.
I mean, one thing that comes to mind is the 3DS was pushing AR. They had those cards that came with it, and there was like a little mini game or something, and then that was it. Nothing ever used that again.
I mean, you're giving me flashbacks. I remember bringing my 3DS to Silicon Knights. I had Sean use the feature to scan himself and make a me, and it came up as infant.
Human infant.
What about the Super Scope? You guys remember the Super Scope? I think there was like one game that used it too.
Well, there was the disc with, or cart, pardon me, with a bunch of games, and then what was the other one? Battle Clash was the big killer app. That sound right?
Sounds familiar.
Oh, Battle Clash, so bad. Oh my god. All right. So other than that, rumors. There's also a C button, like a kind of weird little stick.
Oh no.
For a new button on one of the Joy-Cons that's been rumored. I haven't seen any great ideas for what that could be. Other than it could possibly be like a pointing device type thing. Like so I'm trying to, something else has this already where like you just barely touch it and it acts like a sensitive. What am I thinking of that has something like this already?
I mean, they used to have things like that on like certain laptops. I know I used to have like a Lenovo laptop.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking of.
And it was like just like a little touch sensitive mouse type thing.
It's a little nub.
Little nub. Yeah, just a little nub.
Just work the nub.
Yeah, you got to be gentle with it. You know, you can't press too hard.
A little red nub, work it.
That's right.
Yeah, something like that, maybe. I don't know. I'm not buying it. It's not a big deal to me. I can't think of another button that could. They have share buttons. If it's something like that, who gives a shit? They already have the photo button on the Switch.
Mm-hmm.
Unless they've really blown my mind with that thing. That would be huge. Now,
I've got to say, I'm loving Rumor Frank. Like, usually Frank will not talk about rumors. Mm-hmm. He absolutely forbids it on the show. Like, Frank's bringing the rumors today. I'm loving it.
I'm just telling you what I heard. They seem pretty legit, and I'm kind of getting excited. Not for the Switch 2. I'll probably play it twice a year. But I'm excited for the announcement. It's always fun to see what's coming next and to be utterly shocked and disappointed by Nintendo yet again. Yeah. So I think it's a perfect segue to get into our top 5 lists and our anticipation and hopes and dreams that we've built up to enormous levels, only to have them leveled with the most basic 10-year-old system that everyone will love because it's Nintendo. So are we ready to do this, to do our top 5?
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
Okay. All right. Sean, why don't you lead us off?
Okay, I'm just going to say up front, I didn't put any games. I have one game I'll mention at the end, just as a hypothetical, but these are all features I want to see on the Switch 2. My number 5 is an obvious one that's pretty much already been stated, but backwards compatibility. Not just digital, but also physical, because I do have a lot of Switch cartridges.
That's not happening.
And I mean, but that's the interesting thing. Like, they've kind of already confirmed that it has backwards compatibility to some degree. But it is a weird thing to think about with Nintendo, because think of how much money they've made, like just slightly upgrading old games for the next system. They're throwing away a lot of money by doing that.
They did allow it on the Wii with GameCube games. And could you play Wii games on the Wii U?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Not digital? Like the disc? You put the disc in?
Yeah.
And could you put the GameCube games in a Wii U?
I don't believe so.
No.
Okay.
So it was usually just last gen was there, yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
I mean, backwards compatibility is not on my list. I expect it. If they don't do it, it would actually be the best thing ever. It would actually lead to a revolt against Nintendo in the best way. I mean,
then they would be forced to sell to Apple, and then your dream has come true.
All right, Huck, what do you got?
I've got a wish that it is actually more powerful than an Xbox Series S, which is the lower tier Xbox that's currently out, and I don't think it's going to be more powerful than it. So that's why it's on my wish list. I think it's going to be less powerful than a PS4 Pro, and game developers will cry tears when they're trying to develop next-gen games and then games for the Switch too.
Yeah, I could see that happening. The one thing I'll say is like PS4 games, I've heard it'll be about as good as a PS4 is a general spec I've heard. And they still look pretty good. You know, God of War Ragnarok, if you even added a little bit of extra features to a hardware set or a chipset, you know, those games would still be a huge improvement over current stuff. And I've always said Nintendo does a lot with a little through their art direction. So I don't think it's the end of the world, but as we've said many times, I miss the days when Nintendo was on the forefront of technology and we're like, we have the best graphics and it's not even close. And I truly miss those days. Okay. I'm going to start off very easy. Like, you know what? This is not a big deal, but I would like to see it. This is a duel. Snappier online services. So I always check for the rewards and like buying those images with silver coins for your avatars and icon on the platform. Basically, the first app on the Switch is Nintendo Online. And that app is so slow. Like navigating it, doing anything is painfully slow.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think it's my internet. I think it's their setup and their system. And I would like to see some dedicated resources. I mean, I know there's dedicated resources for operating systems on the Xbox and PlayStation. So I don't know what Nintendo's doing in terms of that stuff, but I just want the online experience, and I'll throw in like parties and friends a little more seamless and integrated into game. But this one is going to piss off Huck, my second part to this.
Uh-oh.
I want more severe and restrictive TCRs for the Switch 2 and connectivity. And one example was, I remember I decided to play Animal Crossing with Colin and Falsk, and was in their island where I was getting all this stuff that I didn't have before because they had it. My Switch disconnected and I lost everything, couldn't join in. It was literally a waste of an hour and a half. So, you know, part of that is the game's fault. I think part of it is Nintendo's fault. And we just need a better connected system and a seamless online experience. It's one of the shittier things about Nintendo. And I just hope we get like a bare minimum industry standard for this stuff going into the new Nintendo.
Yeah, that's probably not going to happen. Can I piggyback on that? I'm going to add one to Frank's that I don't have on mine, but I'm going to piggyback anyways. I'm going to say a better eShop experience along with your online thing, because the eShop is horrible. You can't find anything. It's filled with junk. It is the worst experience. No one can sell any games on it. Like Dumpster Bear, Jank Brain, they sell like a fraction. It takes me like 8 months to get enough sales where I make $100. Like, I'm telling you, it is a just desert. No one can sell anything unless you're a big Nintendo product featured on the top. It is really bad. So they need to improve that somehow. I don't know how, but anyways, I'm hijacking Frank's.
I agree. That would be part of it for me as well. All right, Sean, blow us away. What do you got next?
Well, it's pretty similar to yours. It's basically just proper online gaming ecosystem, specifically with voice chat, messages, all that stuff. Like, it's just crazy that yeah, exactly. Like, it's crazy that they didn't ever launch that feature this whole generation.
I agree.
Oh, yeah.
Huck, number 4.
Mine is more of a hope is that they fix the joystick drift issue that has plagued current Switch controllers if the form factor remains the same, because I don't know. I feel like 50, 75% of the Switch controllers I've had all have that damn drift, and it is so annoying if you're trying to play anything. So I hope they figure out what in manufacturing caused that to happen and fix it. That's
Had
my
the
main
drift,
thing.
Sean?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, big time. Like
I've
every
never had it.
Every Joy-Con I've had has had drift. Like I never use Joy-Cons
Now,
anymore.
I've never had it.
Yeah, because you always play with
have
the Pro Controller.
No, I play with the console as well. What do you think the underlying issue there is?
I think it's like whatever the like physical connection is to read the stick deflection. There's something wrong with it, or
It's children. Children are the issue. Showing proper care and dedication to these analog sticks. So do a little test. Go buy some new Joy-Cons. One set you use, the other set the children use, and see which one encounters drift.
Well, how many times a week do you take a cotton swab with alcohol and clean around your little nubs?
It's never happened.
I don't believe that. Come on. That's like a daily occurrence for you. Come on.
I've literally never cleaned a plug stick of a controller in my life. Ever. I've actually cleaned the cracks of the plastic just because the gross skin and that made me want to barf. But I have very delicate hands, very soft. There's no dirty analog sticks in my house.
Okay.
Number 4, Huck.
I think that was my number 4.
That was your number 4? I apologize.
It's your number 4.
Me, I didn't even realize how much a lot of my stuff lines up with the archive of Nintendo. And number 4, just let me say, before I say my number 4, we've set the bar pretty low so far. Can we get competent online service applications that run quickly or adequately? I mean, so far, anything above and beyond like an Ouya is going to blow us away. Now, this is where it gets a little more challenging, Nintendo.
Uh-oh.
Now, you've done this in the past, so it's not that hard. It's not a big ask. But I assume the Switch successor will have a portable element. I thought I wanted to put a wish list. I can buy a non-portable version, just a box. But I did not put it. I don't think it's even possible. But my number 4 is the return of Street Pass, where if you're walking along, you walk by, you get their Mii show up, puzzle pieces, new countries and provinces and states they're from, filling up this map. I want a permanent Mii Quest. I want a permanent version of this that will be updated over time and track everything I have to do with video games on Nintendo ecosystems, who I've met, where I've been. I want them to know everything about me.
Just imagine how much more you'd get out of the house. Be crazy.
I'd go for walks and see I'd walk by the same person's house every day to get a new puzzle piece. It would be, maybe they could integrate a Pokemon Go version on the Switch. Like, it's just
that was
much potential.
That was part of the 3DS too, right? Just not just the Street Pass, but like walking, you got coins or something for that. Wasn't that part of it?
Yeah. Then you use those coins in Mii Quest. And people you encounter, they had certain powers based on the color of their t-shirt. And then you would go and fight the quest. It was amazing. I loved it. And I can just think of, some more cool puzzles and integrations. People love their Switch. They take it everywhere. Bring it back. All right, that's my number 4. Sean, your number 3.
Okay, my number 3, also not a huge ask, I don't think, but I want 4K, first of all. And I want...
Well, I think they're probably upscaled to 4K, but you mean like legit 4K?
Legit 4K, but
I don't know.
I do want the automatic upscaling for the old games, not just to 4K, but 60 frames per second, which I know is not... It's not specific on the hardware necessarily, like it's also up to the developers, but if they have something they can do, at least for the Nintendo first-party games, that would be pretty sweet.
It is a sad state of affairs when you get a better experience playing ripped games in HD on a PC, which I don't do, but I know a lot of people do, and they run better, they look better. That's sad. I can't think of another modern gen console where you can get I mean, people would say a lot of games you just get on PC and they look better, but you don't get the whole ecosystem and all the benefits. And Nintendo never really releases on PC. So it's shameful, honestly, is what it is. That I'd be better off not buying their games and playing it on PC if I were so inclined, and I'd get a better experience.
Yeah. And like, I know Huck was kind of saying before he would like it at least to be better than the Series S. I don't know how likely it is, but like in terms of where they're going to fall, but just this is their opportunity in the current, market right now to come in and be better than anything that's out there, console wise. They could do that. They won't, but they could.
They can't do that. They're not going to be better than a PS4, PS5 Pro.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just like, I don't know, that first year or two where you could be playing Nintendo first party games that are, at least as good as current gen stuff will be nice, but then it will quickly be forgotten, unfortunately.
Well, I haven't even looked, like, this is a bit of a tangent, but what are like the stats of the Steam Deck? Like the highest end Steam Deck? Is it somewhat close to like Series S?
Oh yeah, I would think so.
Yeah, okay. I'm not like, I mean, I'm not.
Because if you think of it from like just the form factor and the heat that would be produced, like it's got to be pretty beefy to have the fans to be able to cool that stuff down with the LCD and everything so close. So, I mean, you can't go too...
Steam Deck is beefy.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, but the Switch is normally pretty slim. So in order to get up to that level, you'd have to bulk it up quite a bit, I think, to get enough cooling in there to make sure it doesn't overheat and die.
So according to this, just, first result that came up, Steam Deck is 1.6 teraflops, Series S is 4 teraflops. Okay. So Series S is significantly.
Wow. Yeah. I would have thought that.
Yeah. So
but
still I don't know, pretty behind.
I was also reading some stuff about like Switch 2 and DLSS, and I don't totally understand what DLSS is, but a lot of people are saying, like none of the current consoles have it, I don't think, but the Switch 2 could come out and have that, and that would be a leg up on everyone else. Whether they will, I don't know, but
I don't think so. I think that's an NVIDIA card thing. I don't think this, I mean, I don't know if the Switch 2 is going to have an NVIDIA card, but I thought that was an NVIDIA thing.
Yeah, there is some sort of like, there was some news recently about a new patent seemingly confirms NVIDIA 4K upscaling for Switch 2. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know exactly what it means, but yeah, some kind of technical advantage over everybody else would be cool to see from Nintendo.
Digital Foundry was able to confirm that the Switch 2 is running a custom version of NVIDIA's T234 mobile processor called the T239. Based on an octa-core ARM A78C CPU cluster and custom graphics unit based on NVIDIA's RTX 30 series Ampere architecture.
Okay, well, and then I'm just reading a bit about the DLSS, and it says it can run on all RTX branded cards, so that would qualify. So in theory, it could, which would allow for high res.
Sources have told Digital Foundry that the custom NVIDIA chip may not feature a deep learning accelerator, which would limit DLSS upscaling to 1440p rather than 4K. Ouch.
Ouch, indeed. That's still pretty good, though. I'm sure you could get pretty good looking stuff with still high frame rates.
Okay. Number 3 for you, Huck.
Okay, this is also a pretty light lift for Nintendo, but with all this extra power they're going to have in the Switch 2, let's expand the classic library a bit. You know what I'm saying? Let's dip a little further into the N64 backlog and pull some more gems out of there that we can play. maybe even a GameCube emulator, and get a little Mario Sunshine action going.
Well, I'll piggyback on yours. I want to step further.
Uh-oh.
We have a Genesis emulator.
Yeah.
I want a Sega Saturn emulator.
Ooh,
on
bold.
the Switch. I want this. Nintendo buying Sega is inevitable, I think, at some point down the road. And I want them to start, they could expand the Genesis library to have Sega CD and 32X games.
Yeah.
And then eventually, let's get that Saturn. Nothing emulates Saturn games. I don't want Dreamcast. I'm getting a Polymega, the only thing that plays Saturn games. There's not great emulation for it. So I want to see some classic Saturn games on the Switch.
Wow. Yeah. I was going to say that you're just jumping Sega CD, Game Gear, 32X. You're just jumping right to the Saturn, right to the impossible.
Like, to me, Sega CD and 32X kind of fall under the Genesis. Like, they could use the Genesis library for some of that stuff. I'm sure it's a little more complicated than that.
I don't think there are any of those games on the service right now, though, right? It's just Sega Genesis.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, whatever. I want the next thing. I want Saturn games.
Do they have Sega Master System? Like, can you play Michael Jackson's Moonwalker?
I don't know.
I don't think
so. Moonwalker on the Master System? I thought it was Genesis.
Might be on
I thought it was... Okay, could be both.
It's definitely on Genesis. That I know for sure.
That's a deep cut. Moonwalker. That was all the rage in...
It's a classic.
1987, or whatever it was.
There's a Master System version of Moonwalker. Okay, Sean, you're number 2.
Okay, so that was your official number 3, Frank?
Yeah, Sega Saturn Virtual Console.
Well, I guess I'm kind of continuing down the same line as you guys. I mean, I like what you were saying, Frank. I would like to see like an entire classic console collection in general, like not just Nintendo stuff, but bring in other systems. That wasn't my
graphics.
Yeah, that would be great. That's not my number 2, but that would be cool. My number 2 is I want to see DS and 3DS Virtual Console. And the thing that's interesting is I saw like there's a thing out there right now that you can buy for your Switch called like a flip grip or something like that, and it basically lets you put the Joy-Cons in vertically instead of sideways. Like Nintendo could literally just do that, cool. and then it'd be perfect. So
sorry, Huck, I'm skipping you. I'm going to do my number 2 next.
How dare you?
And it would be my number 1. It's such a good idea, but I'm stealing this idea from it was sent to me, and I can't believe Sean didn't think of it himself. Corey, aka Pretentious Goon of Film Junk fame, said they need to set it up so that the console can output without the system being in the dock, which would allow you 2 things. You can use the Switch screen as a second screen and emulate DS and 3DS games, because whatever the touch screen is, you'd have in front of you. And then the other screen where you look up, that's basically how 3DS games work. You would have that system or that setup between your console and your TV. And it would also work as a way to play or upgrade Wii U games like Nintendo Land and Zombie U that needed a second screen, or new games that use a second screen as a device. Or even maybe you have to have the other one in there, but you can use your old Switch as a second screen. And connect it as like a whole controller. Any one of those situations is going to like vastly expand emulation and library capabilities and just give new opportunities to play. I love the idea of second screen in games, and everyone has a Switch already. So let us use it with
let's be honest. Nintendo would never let you use a Switch 2 with a Switch. You would need 2 Switch 2s.
I mean, I'll take that too. I'll take anything, or a Switch. I mean, people are going to say, well, what am I supposed to do with this old thing? Rather than trade it in, hey, keep it. It's a second screen, or has tertiary or secondary functionality to use along with it. I think that's a win for everyone. I can't believe I didn't think of myself. Sean clearly didn't think of it himself. Corey, you knocked it out of the park with this one. Sean's like sweating profusely. He's so embarrassed he didn't think of that idea. And
It's a great idea. I don't know if it's possible, but
yeah, that like pass through idea. It's not. I don't think that would be possible. You're not going to have like an HDMI cable you run from your TV to the Switch.
Well,
stream it
using the Switch One as
how do you think a fucking
you're gonna stream half the game full screen to the TV and play on the bottom half? You're like running 2 games on one Switch too?
Yeah. I think it means the dock would have to have some kind of processor in it, and that I don't know if that would be feasible. But
the dock does have a processor. It's gonna upscale to 4K for sure.
Well, does it? I don't know if
It's going to, trust me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it outputs at a lower resolution when you run it in screen mode. The dock.
Well, I know that part. And I heard that they're like seriously underclocking portable mode for the Switch 2 because they want to increase battery life or something. So it's going to look even worse in portable mode.
You know how easy it would be? Like, I'm not saying that the second screen has to be like 1080p. If you think of a 3DS screen, it's like, who knows, like 480 resolution, and I don't
even think it's that high.
Yeah, it doesn't even really update. It's just streaming like that low of an image quality and taking input from a device that's attached via Bluetooth. It's a no-brainer, dudes.
Yeah, I mean, if it's possible, it's an amazing idea, 100%.
If it's possible, I just told you how you.
You know what? I'll piggyback on your piggyback and just say the game that I want to see on the Switch 2, that would be perfect for what you just said, is Four Sword Adventures, which is well, the GameCube version is not possible to play anywhere.
Let me just add, even if it was only used for Wii U double screen experiences, that was like a system before the Switch. So like processing wise, you could obviously run a Wii U game and have extra processing power to output or stream to the screen. Like, this is not a big ask.
Okay. I mean, you're making some sense. Maybe it's possible.
Corey made all the sense. I'm just convinced.
The weak link in this idea is? You're talking about expanding Nintendo's online service capabilities and their Wi-Fi / internet abilities. That's the weak link right there. You think their online services are so poor? You think they're going to be able to figure this out? I don't know.
It's just Bluetooth. It's just streaming to Bluetooth.
You're talking like AirPlay. I don't know if or whatever. I don't know if they can get that. They can't get freaking voice chat.
It'll be okay. They got it. They got it. Anyone can do this.
Anybody.
You can buy piece of shit devices off Temu that like do shit like this.
I'm not saying most people can't do it.
Well, Corey, your idea is brilliant. Thank you. I've given a ton of credit. I'm not sure. I don't try to steal people's ideas. I don't know if Corey stole it from somewhere else and then fed it to me, but let me know.
Is it on me now?
Yeah.
I think. Okay. My number 2. This one I'm stealing as well, but I'm stealing it from the best handheld of all time, the Vita. I want a back touch screen that allows me to get all the feels in the back. You know what I'm saying?
I like it.
That'd be cool.
I guess then the Pro controller would need some back touching, maybe a little back touch there.
I want to play FIFA soccer and be able to like pick the corners with my back fingers like I used to.
Okay.
That's what I want.
I'll take it. Sean, your number 1 wish list item for the Switch successor. What is
number 1 wish list item, which Huck already said? Joy-Cons without drift.
Oh
my God.
Although I'll take it one step further and just say, just give me a Pro controller in the box. That would be ideal.
Hey, buddy. Show a little cash, dude. It's not. This problem is already solved. in a way, you're wishing for a world without children, which I find.
I don't trust me. Throw some comments, people who don't have children that have Joy-Con drift. It is an epidemic. I can't believe they went through the whole generation with this.
A bull in a china shop. I apparently, except for video games, I'm a delicate creator of controllers. I never, even as a youth, I was not like frantic, like moving my hands with a controller. It's an extension of my brain. I don't need to be rough on it, you know?
Okay.
All right. Huck, you're number 2. Or you're number 1, pardon me.
This guy plays Switch once a year, doesn't experience drift, thinks he's a professional. Okay, my number 1. The only one everyone should ever have. You know, there's rumors. I see the rumors. Oh, guess what's going to happen? A new Mario Kart game. You know, people are talking about F-Zero.
Mario Kart 9.
No. We need what Frank told me to put on my list, and I did it. Diddy Kong Racing 2. The best kart racer ever made needs a sequel ASAP, and it needs to be a launch title, and it will blow Mario Kart out of the water. Mario Kart won't know what to do once Diddy Kong comes back. Best kart racer ever. We need it. We need it more than anything.
Now, I originally had another wish list item that was centered around possibly Diddy Kong Racing, but reconnection, a synthesis, a repartnering between Nintendo and Rare, centering around Xbox integration. So Xbox Live, Cloud Play and services on the Switch successor. They're finally going to get Call of Duty, which will use their aiming device.
They're getting Call of Duty? Switch 2 is getting Call of Duty?
This was all part of it. This is...
Oh. I was going to say.
New Call of Duty runs on a PS4. That's what this thing's supposed to be. So I don't think it's outside the realm of possibility. And kind of like how Bandai Namco Team Ninja was loaned out for Metroid Other M, they loan out part of Rare and bring them back in first to revive some classic Nintendo properties. I don't think it's going to happen. I didn't put it on my wish list, but it crossed my mind. They've always been very cozy. And if anyone's going to buy out Nintendo, it's going to be Microsoft. Okay. My number 1, achievements. Very simple. The
whole reason for this discussion, I'm sure.
I'm curious. Like, this is more for me. It's a wish list. Like, obviously I love achievements, but number 2, it's really a social experiment in confirmation bias. And, you know, I say I don't like Nintendo stuff anymore, but what if there was an achievement system? Would I actually reveal my decades of bias at this point? Because I just didn't, they didn't have achievements. They didn't appeal to me. But they actually still make the best games? I don't think so. But there's only one way to truly find out. And that's if some type of achievement system is released and tracked. I mean, just the idea of going back and adding achievements to classic games, Donkey Kong Country, SNES games. Oh my God, I might not play another console if they did it well. So this is your one opportunity to really swing things, Nintendo. Don't fuck it up. Okay. I think we've covered it all.
I think so.
I predict we get a new console with magnetic Joy-Cons, a bigger screen, OLED, 1440p. Huck doesn't even think we're getting 1440p.
Oh, I don't think we're getting OLED.
The screen will be OLED.
I'm pretty sure I've seen rumors that it's not OLED. Is the latest word, but
we're getting OLED. And the launch game is going to be Metroid Prime 4 and
Drinkbox's new game.
Well, I mean, not including indie stuff.
Well, we got a new Mario launch game.
We will.
Mario Kart.
I don't.
They've been milking Mario. When did Mario Kart 8 come out? Like 15 years ago?
Yeah.
Yes. The answer is probably yes. They're gonna have a Mario Kart 9.
I don't think it's going to be a launch title though. I think it's going to come late. I wouldn't be surprised if at launch it's just like improved versions of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, and like
in the same pack,
and Metroid Prime 4. That's it.
Yeah, there apparently a well-known leaker, has said Mario Kart 9 will be a launch title, along with Red Dead Redemption 2.
That kind of makes sense.
And an announcement trailer for 3D Mario.
Well, I've seen this post as well. Last game I kind of would have wished for if I was wishing for games. I want completely HD remaster redone Ocarina of Time. That's the one game that I would like to revisit with modern-ish graphics. I would be very happy.
That would be cool.
Okay, that's our wish list for the Switch successor. Maybe we'll see how much of this is true later this week. Hey, by the time this episode drops, it might already be official. People are saying it's happening Monday. We're recording Sunday. We'll see. All right, are we doing what we played?
We can if you want. I
don't have much. I'm supposed to be preparing for my top 10 list. So, I mean, that's looking more like mid-February at this point. Film junk cramming week right now. I'm watching movies. So I only played one game, a couple hours of Still Wakes the Deep.
Oh,
Did you play this?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Sean beat it, I think. I made it about halfway through.
Got it from the old library. And
you didn't Game Pass it?
Nope. Getting those trophies, following a platinum.
And, look at this guy in his library. You're going to pass me with the library champion over there. I don't like this. I don't like this game you're playing.
I platinumed every game I've ever gotten from the library. Not true. I did get Tekken 8. But it's pretty good. I mean, I like the polish level. The environment of being on this like mining rig is pretty interesting and intriguing. I'm really only getting into the story and horror elements a bit so far. And it's definitely better than I thought it would be. It's basically a walking simulator. Not a lot of puzzles that I've encountered yet, to be honest. But looks good. So far, cool story. We'll see how good the storytelling is. I anticipate it being not that great, like every other video game I've ever played. All right, Sean?
Okay, so I'll mention that I finished Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Obviously did not 100% it, but liked it quite a bit. Not going to say if it's on the top 10 list or not. Might be.
It is. It definitely is.
If I played it all the way through, it's probably a good sign. But I just was going to mention that. So I think I was probably like around 30 hours or something. And I did some side quests, but definitely not all. There was a lot left to do. But I was going to mention that some of the levels are open world, which if you've only played like the first or second level, you kind of might have a sense of like the whole game is like that. But there are some levels that are more linear, just action oriented kind of chase sequence type things. And I actually like that. I like it. It kind of, it was nice to have some more focused storytelling sections and get some of those action set pieces in there, which I think you do need for an Indiana Jones game. But
I mean, the first two levels are pretty small scale. It's not until you get to the Vatican that things really open up. So I assume, based on what I had seen as like how many levels there are, some of those later ones are just kind of chase, high intensity pacing type sections.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I mean, I would consider going back and doing some more of the side quests at some point, because I've heard some of them have some pretty cool story elements to them as well. So, but yeah, that's all I'll say about that for now.
Cool. I've just been playing Rebirth still. Still loving it. I'm loving Queen's Gambit the more I play it. I don't know. I just find I'm compelled to beat every person I come across. So if it takes me, 5-6 attempts, I'm going to do it right then and there. I'm going to drop everything and spend half an hour trying to beat that asshole that keeps beating me. So really enjoying it. I'm in Junan with lower level area right now, so I'm still probably super early, only in chapter 4.
Box?
I haven't done that yet. No,
Like the big fish thing, or
I haven't done it yet.
That
I
was
think
the
that's the
last-
next thing.
okay, that was the last thing I did before I stopped playing.
Yeah, I think all I have to do is stay at the inn, and then I think I fight that boss. So I've just kind of been exploring around there, but man, it just captures all the like Final Fantasy VII vibes, and yeah, I think I said the same thing last week, but it is just such a polished, and even like you're walking around Junon, this lower level, and they have, random people walking around, washing things, painting things, fishing, and I'm just watching. I'm like, oh my gosh, the like resources to create all this stuff and put it in here and place all these animations and get all these people walking. I'm just like, it's incredible that they've pulled this off at such a scale they did. So yeah, just very impressed with the polish level of the game, and just really, really enjoying it still.
Easy, bud. Great circle has people walking and painting things too, dude.
I know. I've played that game as well.
It's like asking for Nintendo to do online stuff. Like, yeah, you're really.
Hey, when was the last time you saw someone painting in Zelda? That's all I have to say.
Well, I'm not comparing it to Zelda.
Never.
All right.
Hey, that's the game of the year. Thought it was the best game ever. Breath of the Wild. No one's painted in that game.
Breath of the Wild. Echoes of Wisdom.
Echoes of Wisdom.
What game are you talking? Breath of the Wild. That's
I'm talking about the best game ever, Breath of the Wild.
game of the decade. Yeah. Sean, will Echoes of Wisdom make your top 10 list?
It's on the bubble.
I figured
Probably will be somewhere in there.
All right. Sean, what else you got? Anything? I got nothing else.
Okay, I got 2 quick things. I'll mention Duck Detective, The Secret Salami, because this game, we got some fans of the Golden Idol games here, and I know some of our listeners are fans of those games as well. This is kind of similar to that. It's a little bit, obviously, more cute, cartoony, but it is kind of a game where you go around, you gather clues, and then you have to kind of fit the clues being words, and then you got to fit those words into, like, you got to identify the characters, you got to have a sentence that describes what happened, and so on. So it is really similar. It's, I guess, one of the differences is you're actually moving around an environment in, well, I guess kind of in 3D, and you're searching for clues that way, but it's pretty obvious what items you can interact with. And then you can actually interrogate people and ask them about specific items or people to get more information as well. So I'm very similar. I do find that it's still a bit of guesswork, a bit of trial and error, a bit of process of elimination, all that stuff. But just wanted to mention it. I feel if you like Golden Idol, you might dig this. And then this one, a little bit of a rant, maybe, about a game called Wobbly Life. Have you guys heard of this game?
No.
Absolutely not.
So I think it's been out on Steam for like a couple years, but just recently came out on consoles. And I mean, I kind of brought this on myself because I saw it was on sale on Xbox over the holidays for pretty cheap. And I don't know how I stumbled across it, but I was like, oh, this looks like something the kids would be into that we could play together. It's got split screen co-op, but also online co-op. So, multiple consoles, potentially that could work. But it's kind of this very lo-fi looking open world game. Kind of looks almost like a Roblox type thing, although the characters remind me more of like Alien Hominid or something like that. And, it's just an open world where you kind of go around and you explore, you have jobs you can do for people to earn money and to earn cosmetics. And then, you can buy a house. So it has elements of like sort of like Sims kind of Animal Crossing type stuff. But then it actually does have quests that you do. Like there's one where you go into a furniture store, and if you sleep on the bed, you go into this dream world. And then there's a whole like section there. So it's kind of got some creative stuff like that. But anyway, this game is
Just want to say before you go any further, it released on Steam 8th of July 2020. It is still in early access on Steam.
okay.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Sorry, Sean, rant, please.
So I was playing it on Xbox One S, which could be part of the problem. Although I think we did try it on the Series X and it wasn't much better. But this game is so glitchy and it is so frustrating. And it's like the kids are loving it, but anytime I try to actually complete a quest, it like you have to, for instance, when you pick up an item, it doesn't just go into your inventory. You have to kind of hold down a button and hold it in your hand while you move from one point to another. If you're driving a car, you have to like open up the trunk of the car, put it in the trunk of the car, close it, drive to your location, open it up, take it out and give it to the person or whatever you're doing with it. And half the time as you're driving, it'll like glitch out of the car and like fly away somewhere. I had one mission I tried to do where it was this long kind of parkour section. And I got to the very end, I jumped off something and the item I was holding got stuck in the ground. To restart the whole thing. I was like, I can't take it. I can't handle this game. But hey, the kids are loving it. So
I mean, they love it because they're used to playing broken controllers with drift all the time. That's
well, they're used to playing broken, janky games. That's what people love. That's what the kids love now. So
drift. We'll start simulating drift on controllers for kids. It's going to be really cool.
This is on Xbox, and I don't think Xbox controllers have ever had drift that I'm aware of. I know that the Dual Sense do as well. I haven't had that. Never heard of the Xbox one.
Now, I own 9 Dual Senses and alternate between them, so it's less likely, but
could be a factor.
I've never experienced drift on a Dual Sense. I think I technically own 10, possibly 11. Anyway.
So is this in the game preview? Like the early access Xbox version game preview?
I don't think so. I think it's just out in full access. I think it's on other consoles as well. But yeah, I feel like this is a game you might start hearing more about. I feel like it's probably something that streamers are going to start picking up and stuff. But I don't know. Like, it's not really a recommendation from my point of view. But if you have kids, they might like it. So there you go. Wobbly life.
Definitely looks like a turd. Anyone got anything else, or are we wrapping up?
That's it for me.
Okay. Once Wednesday's over, once the junkies and top 10s are done, it's daily dedication to games. I will be revisiting Rebirth. Not to say I haven't been gaming. I've just been doing Rivals, COD, and Helldivers. So those are going to be
gotta get your dailies in.
I do my dailies every day, and all 3 of those games will be on my top 10 list. Okay. You can watch us on youtube.com/GameJunk. Mission for 2025, get to 1,000 subscribers, please. Begging you, like pathetic losers, subscribe to this channel.
Tell a friend. Why not?
Friend. If you got any Switch people, let us know. Let them know. Tell us what you hope for the Switch, so we can all be crushed and disappointed together. Let me know if you're a complete psycho Nintendo fan that just loves everything they do and only buy Nintendo stuff. Put it in the comments. youtube.com/GameJunk. You can find Discord links there as well. And maybe next week we'll have a new Switch successor announcement to discuss. Maybe we'll put the call out for Junk Mail. Keep your eyes and ears peeled. We'll see you next time. Thanks for listening or watching. Bye-bye.